Hello everyone. Welcome to the course of Data Communications and Networks. In today's class, we are going to learn about DNS. So the DNS stands for Domain Name System. Okay. So as the name itself indicates, by using a name with some extensions, we are going to search several web pages into in an internet. Okay, or using an internet. Okay. So suppose if you take an example of some several web browsers, okay, it can be a Mozilla, it can be a Google Chrome or anything. Suppose if you open a particular web browser and you try to access some web page, what we need to do, we need to type some address, right? So it can be with respect to .com, or it can be with respect to some sort of search, whatever web page we want to access, suppose Facebook, okay? So even if you type the Facebook, it goes to the facebook.com kind of thing. Or even if you are searching for some sort of e-commerce sites, it will be taken as amazon.in or flipkart.com, everything. All these particular names which we search in a browsers will be having with respect to a domain name systems, okay? So what are these domain name systems? We are going to see now. So as I have already said, so it requires an internet for the functioning of this particular process, okay? So it will be having some sort of name with some sequence of extensions like .org, .com, .in, or several. These kind of extensions are much more considered. And DNS, domain name system, acts as an directory service. So we know about telephone directory, right? So it will be having several phone numbers of overall all the subscribers and everything, right? So this particular domain name system is also some sort of directory service which provides all these kind of web page links based on this particular domain name. So what are these domain names? We are going to see now. So this particular, as soon as you type this particular search, anything in the search bar or a Google Chrome or the web browser, it will be directed to this particular, based on the domain name service, it will be directed to the particular IP address. From that IP address, based on that IP address, a particular web page, whatever we are searching for, will be located and displayed on the web browser, okay? So let's see some of the domain name systems. So if you see over here, so all the left side names, Aero, okay, Biz, Com, Corp, Edu, Government, Info, all these things with respect to extensions, dot extensions like .aero is nothing but with respect to the airlines and aerospace companies. .biz is respect to business and the firms. .com is like commercial organizations, which is very much popular and famous. .corp is the corporate business organization. .edu is the educational institutions. So you might be, students may know very well that some educational kind of institutions will be having with respect to .edu, right? And .gov is somewhat like government institutions, and .info is like information service providers. INT is for international organization. MIL is for military groups. Museum, this is rarely we come across, but it is also one of the existing domain name system, like .museum goes for museum and other non-profit organizations. And you can also give some personal names as well. And .net comes for the network support centers. .org goes for the non-profit organization, and pro is for the professional individual organizations, okay? So if you, all these are the domain name systems. How, based on the domain name systems, how actually the host or the server will react, we are going to see now. See, this is a basic block diagram of an DNS. So if you see over here, let me take the pen. If you clearly see over here, there is a user with a host name, goes to the file transfer client. From here, it is connected to the DNS client. From DNS client, it is going to the server in order to fetch the data from the server. Once the server takes the query, it sends a request again back to the DNS client. From the DNS client, using an IP address, it goes to the file transfer client, and using this particular file transfer client through an IP address, it goes to the network layer where they want to display this particular data onto the web page. Okay. Now let's see. So let us say the user is searching for something. Okay. So some web page, web application. Okay. Using a web browser, the user is searching something. As soon as the user enters some particular name or domain name system with some dot extensions and somewhat like that, the signal will be sent to the file transfer client. Okay. So this particular file transfer client, what does it do is it gives it forward that particular data to the DNS client. Now here comes the domain name system gathers all the clients, domain name system client gathers all the searched information, and it checks within its server, like DNS server. That means, so whenever the DNS client sends a query to this particular server, the DNS server will search for the required keywords or the domain name systems which the user has given as an input, and based on the server data, once the data is checked based on our search, user search, the server lists out some sort of data or websites or web pages, and it will send all the data to the DNS client in the form of response. Okay. So once the response has been received by this particular DNS client, this DNS client, using an IP address, send the whole resultant data to the file transfer client. Okay. Now this particular IP address, based on the IP address, we can assume which particular user was searching on the particular internet. Okay. Through which host that particular user were searching that particular data. Okay. So based on that IP address, using a network layer, the whole results or the links or the web pages will be given as a result in the screen of that particular host. The host can be a mobile phone, the host can be a laptop, or the host can be a computer. So this is how a basic concept works. And this particular whole DNS client and the file transfer client, where the user is accessing, comes under this particular application area, where the software related to the browser and or the app or the applications related to where the user is interfacing comes into the point, and the whole interface, application layer or the interface, will be communicating with the DNS server with respect to the DNS client based on the IP address. So on the whole, what's happening is, whatever we are typing, domain name system or the keywords, it will be converted into an IP address. Based on the IP address, the search will be done in the DNS server, and once the result is found, the response will be again forwarded to the DNS client, from which, using again the host IP address, the data will be, or the results will be displayed on the screen. Okay, that is how the main DNS plays a role. So here, application layer like web browser, data and domain name system kind of systems like dot extensions kind of file names, and DNS servers, and especially IP address plays a major role in order to search the particular data for which the user has been searched, and also to project the results, from which IP address also helps in projecting the results to a particular host from which the search was done. Okay, so this is the basic information regarding the domain name system. It's just simple. Okay, thank you.